Again, I don't know who sat down and really figured this out, but they didn't do such a good job at really
No.
figuring this out at all, man. I'm sorry.
Just let Kelly do it.
Right.
It would make much more sense if I could have control over it.
It would make more sense.
It would be historically based.
We would have been like, yeah, that makes sense. We're good.
We'd be happy.
Yeah, exactly. The fans be happy.
Yeah.
Okay, let's go.
All right, well, welcome everybody to yet another episode of the Dad Hat Chronicles podcast. I haven't said that in a while. I felt good to say that, just so you guys know. My name is Ed, also known as the Dad Hat, and with me I got two of my friends, fellow podcasters and fellow members of Corporate Media. I have Eric. He has a small, this podcast. Eric, would you mind tell us about your, not so popular podcast that you got going on?
Yeah, thanks, Ed, for having me on. Glad to have you back doing the podcasting again a little bit here. I know you still have your shows that you do throughout the week, but good to get back on the actual podcast game. So myself and my co-host Johnny Bolin, we host the Earn Fun Average podcast. Comes out every Wednesday morning, and we talk a lot of summer collegiate ball, but then obviously independent, professional, and minor league affiliated baseball. And then have some fun with just having some friends on as well. But yeah, Earn Fun Average is what Johnny and I do.
Mm-hmm. Average is what you do, right?
That's right. Average is what we do best.
And I really do appreciate what you guys do for a lot of the collegiate wood bat teams. You guys give them a platform to really, promote themselves. So I like that a lot. So you do a really good job. So, both of you and Johnny.
Thank you.
And then with our my other good friend, I have him still on my phone up to this day as Kelly Baseball. Not his last name. I just has him as Kelly Baseball. It's a long story, so we'll keep it at that. But he is one of the most baseball nerdiest people you'll ever meet. And it's okay because he doesn't fuck around when it comes to his nerdiness.
Nope, I do not.
That's right. Kelly, the minor league nerd. How you doing, my friend? Tell us a little bit about your podcast, man.
I'm doing great. It's great to see both of you here. So I do the Minor League Nerd podcast, the YouTube channel. Right now we're on hiatus. But what we normally do is we cover various teams that have existed in the world of minor league baseball. Have not said it much publicly, but we tend to focus mostly on pre-1990 teams. Basically just tell the story of the teams, their history. And right now we're in between seasons. I'm actually taking a break because it's a lot of work. So in between seasons, we're doing a series called My Favorite Baseball Memories, where I interview different people. Actually, it's not really an interview. It's more just a platform for them to be able to talk about some of their favorite baseball memories. We've had 3 episodes so far. A new episode will be released shortly, and then it'll continue on through March. And then in April, we will start back up with our regular series.
I appreciate that one. I did tell you that I would like to go on because I heard one of your episodes and it hurt my feelings. Not going to lie, because it was about the Cubs, especially the 2016 Cubs. And we already know as a Cleveland fan how that felt.
Well, we're going to have you back on so you can have a rebuttal against Joel.
You know what? It was a good episode. Like, I mean, in all honesty, it really was a really good episode. He really did make some really good points on, because you kind of think about it from his point of view, right? As a longtime fan of the Cubs, like me, like Cleveland, like we've never seen them up to that 2016, never seen a championship. You know what I mean? And for at least them to really just, break that that curse, it was pretty cool to see.
And it makes it's great that his dad got to experience it with his dad.
Yeah. So, which is cool. And I talk a lot. I was like, hey, I hate the Cubs. I don't, it's just, it hurt because my team didn't win. We didn't come on top. And ever since then,
if it wasn't for the rain,
the
rain killed it. The rain killed the momentum.
It did. It really did. So, well. All right, guys. So here's why we are here tonight. Tonight, whenever you're listening to this podcast, thank you very much. Hit the subscribe button. What we're doing here is we are going to be talking about various minor leagues leagues, like the leagues, the baseball leagues themselves, right? Because there's a lot of baseball leagues here in the United States and in Canada that a lot of people really don't know about. Obviously, we have Puerto Rico as well. We have Venezuela. We got the Caribbean. If we do this, I mean, we can go the whole world. It's a long list, and I'm sure Kelly, you also have that. I'm sure you do.
Yes, yes.
But I wanted to start with that just because eventually, if there is a work stoppage for baseball, Major League Baseball, and affiliated baseball, at least we will have an opportunity to watch other type of baseball here in the United States, and we want to give the options to our fans. Also, to be honest with you, I also want to know how many there are really. To be honest with you, or how many there have been, because there's a lot out
Yeah.
there. So
Yeah, there are. I mean, current. I mean, you've got what is it? Is it currently it's 12 affiliated,
mhm.
right? 36 or 11, because after the dropping of the short season.
The short season, the short season became MLB draft.
Right. Well, yeah. Well, some of it, yeah. Then
Some of it, yeah.
the most of the teams that were in there were in the New York Penn League, then
Yeah.
and Carolina League with Frederick, who's now going back to professional. But yeah, I mean, we've got AAA, we've got the International League, the Pacific Coast League, and then AA, we've got the Eastern League, the Southern League, and the Texas League. Go High A, which is now Midwest League, the Northwest League, the South Atlantic League.
Jesus.
And then low A, you've got the Florida League, the Texas League, and the California League.
And that's just affiliated.
That's just affiliated, yeah. And in my mind, I still can't remember who's with the Carolina and with the South Atlantic because I still can't get past it. They flipped. The
Right.
Carolina League since it started in 45 was a high A and now it's a low A. And it's like trying to remember who's in what league, and it's a work.
Well, not only that, but also when it comes to um the Pacific and the international, how like it's not even
Yeah.
on the amount of teams per league. It's just very weird to me that like my Major League Baseball looked at it and was like, oh, we're just going to give International League more teams.
Yeah.
How's
We'll
that?
give you 20 teams, and it'll go all the way from Omaha all the way to the Atlantic coast.
Which again, you're looking at it and then you're like, it doesn't make any sense to me at all.
Yeah, I don't know if it's, well, I guess it's just, this is the forum, but yeah, I don't like it. I don't like the whole the which I know most of us don't like, the 6-game schedule.
Nope.
The
Nope.
teams don't play each other all the time. What's the point of the divisions when they mean nothing? I mean, you got 2 divisions in each, but it's whoever finishes the best record each half. Doesn't matter what division. There's
Right.
no point to the divisions.
So right, because if you're gonna say, hey, you're the first half winner, and then you make it automatically make the playoffs, why do we have a division?
Right.
Why?
At least with the lower levels, it's the 2 division winners for each half. So
Right.
like originally at AAA, when they announced it in 2021, there were going to be no division. Actually, it's 2022.
Yeah.
There were going to be no divisions. It was going to be a straight table. Every league was going to be like that. That's what they announced before. And then that's how it started. And then like 2 weeks into the season, all of a sudden there's divisions. It's like, well, wait, where was the announcement of going back to divisions?
Yep. I think you and me, I remember this conversation, Eric, when we were having on one of the DSC sports shows, when this was announced, the leagues were announced that we were talking about it. And I'm like, this makes absolutely no sense whatsoever.
Yeah, well, I don't like the, crowning a first half champion because, with obviously here in Wichita, we have the AA of Minnesota Twins. If you win the first half, majority of your guys are going to go up to St. Paul or whatever. Whoever wins the first half is going to more likely go to AAA.
Yep.
Not everybody, but a good portion of them. So then that's a completely different team by the time you get to the end of the second half. And for instance, like this past year, just as an example, Wichita finished second in both the first half and the second half. So they end up not winning either half, first or second half, but had the second best record overall throughout the entire season. And I think that should mean something. And then, of course, they had a chance to make the playoffs, but lost on the very last day. So they missed out on the playoffs this last year. And then, talking about teams playing each other. So obviously with the Texas League here, we have the Texas League North, Texas League South. Well, Wichita has played in Corpus Christi against the Hooks, I think the last 3 years, and the Hooks have not come to Wichita, which makes no sense why Wichita has to keep going all the way down to Corpus Christi.
Yeah.
Now, this coming season, I actually went through, we have an app where we have a shared calendar with the family, and I went through and put all the Wind Surge games on the calendar on our app this afternoon. And the Hooks are coming finally to Wichita. And I don't remember if it was maybe 2021, but I feel like it's been at least like the last 3 years where they haven't even come to Wichita, but Wichita's gone down there. And it's like, wouldn't you like rotate? I know North
Every other
typically
year or
plays
something like that.
South, but it's just, yeah, it's really, I don't know. It's really weird how, and then like previous, obviously they'd have more emphasis and they'd play more of the other North Division teams. But this past year, they had an emphasis on Wichita played more of the Southern Division teams. So I don't know how that kind of came about. But yeah, I've never really thought that it's a good idea to have like a first half winner, because more than likely, and then that's what happened 3 years ago when Wichita was last in the playoffs. Tulsa won the first half. They obviously had all their guys go up to, at the time, the Oklahoma City Dodgers, now the Comets, and then Wichita won the second half. Wichita won the 3-game series, their best of 3. They won both games like 29 to like 1. Like they
Jesus.
just blew out Tulsa because Tulsa had nobody. All their the good players all went up to Oklahoma City or to LA to the Dodgers, and it's like you can't just reward the top 2
Yeah.
teams who have the best overall record from beginning to end.
See, that makes sense because at least, at very least, you'll have some continuity with what you have right there, right? Like, but like you said, with your team, right? You lost half your team because they moved up, which, hey, listen, good thing, right? That's a good thing because they're getting the opportunity to move up, which is what you want as a baseball player, right? But us as fans, like, honestly, we don't, like, we won't see those players until later on if they make it all the way to the major leagues, right? So we want to be able to see, we root for a specific team. Obviously, us as podcasters, we root for the whole league in baseball, right? Because this is what we do, right? And so, but like, like you have someone who lives in Wichita, doesn't, all they know is nothing but the Wind Surge. They care about that team and that team alone.
Well, and I don't want to, my brother will hate if I speak for him, but he says it's pointless to even have playoffs in the minor leagues because, majority of these guys, let's say, for instance, for the St. Paul Saints, they're not in contention. They're not going to win the second half. Well, instead of letting the guys stay in Wichita, if Wichita's about to win the second half and make the playoffs and have, their best players at the time going into the playoffs, they call those guys up so they get some experience in AAA right before the end of the season. And even if they end up winning the second half, they don't have majority of their best players. So he's like, what's the point of even have playoffs? Because you're not, yeah, you can win a Texas League championship, but what's that even mean? Because you would think, I know we were talking to somebody on my podcast about how some teams are like, yeah, if the team in AA is in contention, they'll either send down guys or keep those guys there. But for like Wichita and their connection with the Twins, they've always just called the best guys up. So we lost the first 2 years of existence for Wichita, 21 and 22. They lost in the Texas League Championship. It was a weird series, obviously, in 2021, but they played 5 games overall in the 2 years that they went to the championship and haven't won a game because they called all their best players up to St. Paul. And St. Paul both years weren't in contention of even making the playoffs. So it's like, yeah, you want to give them experience and they're going to probably be playing there next year, but just let them stay and win a championship.
Let them get a taste of what it's like to win a championship, right?
Regardless of the level, yeah.
Right, regardless of the level, because let's be honest, like some of them may not win one ever,
right,
in professional baseball. Which again, we don't. It's like the powers that be up in Major League Baseball and the teams, they don't care about that. But like some of those players do. Like they worked their asses off, that year to get that team to be good to where they are, and then they, for them to be like, oh, hey, by the way, this championship doesn't matter to us. What matters is development. Go up and move up into AAA.
But yeah, that's part of the problem with MLB taking over the minors. It for some major league teams, and some players, yeah, they don't care about the playoffs, but like the fans do. Majority of the players do, because yeah,
Absolutely.
like you're saying, there's some guys they never. ever win again, and it's their one and only time. And like I don't know, other podcast people have talked about with players how it was a great feeling to know we accomplished this. I accomplished
Yeah.
this with my teammates, and that's just part of, I think, kind of where it's starting to change, not just in baseball. It's just that Major League Baseball controlling it, it's all about let's just develop, just develop, just develop. I mean, it's the same thing in hockey, which I don't want to get too much off.
I get it. I
but
get it.
but like here in Chicago, we've got the Chicago Wolves, who've been around since 1994. They've won 5 championships. This year they're affiliated with the Carolina Hurricanes.
Hurricanes, yeah.
Yeah, the previous year they weren't affiliated, they were independent. The year before that, they were with Carolina. They dropped Carolina because Carolina doesn't care about Wolves
Mm-mm.
fans. They don't care about the Wolves
Nope.
history. They don't care. It's just develop.
Yep.
And so when the Wolves went back into affiliation, Carolina gained control of all the operations. So the first thing they did was fire the GM. They just recently fired our coach, never gave a reason why. So it's like it's happening like across, I think, the spectrum of
Sports.
minor league sports, is that the major leagues are like putting the emphasis on it's just about development. That's it. We don't care about anything else. I mean, we lost the All-Star games, and we're not going to get the All-Star games back, which I think the main reason we won't get the All-Star games back is because it's in the CBA agreement that the players would need to be paid for that. And well, MLB and the league and the teams aren't going to want to pay their minor leaguers to go play at an All-Star game.
Which is a sad thing, right?
Yeah.
Because it's cool to have,
Yeah.
you got
We used to go to the Midwest League All-Star game
all
every year, and it was always a great time.
absolutely. Like, I mean, you're telling me that here in the Carolina League, you pull all the best players from these, like all these teams, splitting them up in 2 teams, and then have an all-star game.
Yeah.
You don't think that people won't show up for that?
Well,
Absolutely.
with the Carolina League, which used to be the Carolina League would put an all-star team together, the California League would put an all-star game together, and they would play each other, and they would rotate every year. One year it'd be in the Carolina League, the next year it'd be in the California, back and forth. And I mean, I never got to attend one, but I'm sure it was a great time.
Absolutely. And again, listen, and I never attended one here because obviously I haven't been here in the Carolinas that long,
Right.
but like that would be something cool. All right, so let's say that you're not gonna, you're the championship doesn't really matter to you. Obviously, it is obvious by Major League Baseball what they're doing. The only championship that you have technically is what the AAA championship, where they have a series,
Right.
between the Pacific and the International League.
Yeah, and that's what I was going to touch on because Kelly, you were talking about that. That's the at least I at least like that because they do now. When I first went to the AAA National Championship in 2022 out in Vegas,
Yeah.
they did basically a 3-game weekend where it was the International League played like on that Friday. The 2 top teams in the Pacific Coast League played on that Saturday, and then the winner of the 2 then played each other on that Sunday for the ultimate AAA National Championship. And that was a lot of fun getting to go. But I really like how they have the winner of both those leagues. Now, lately they've been doing it where they're still having the ultimate AAA national champion play between the 2 leagues in Vegas, but it's just a 1 game, whereas the championship for the International League and then the Pacific Coast League, they just play on I think the first half winners home field before they go out to Vegas. But they've been trying to do over the last couple of years, at least in AAA, where Round Rock went over to play like Durham or something. They had regular season series where they'll play between the 2 leagues. But I wish they would do that when like AA, for instance, because I would love to have a series against like the Rocket City Trash Pandas or the Erie Sea Wolves or whoever. So I wish they would do that in other leagues. I know they've done a little bit in the last couple of years with AAA in the regular season, but I think it'd be really cool to see Wichita go to whatever other AA in like the Southern League or whatever to play them for a series. I think that would be pretty cool.
It's funny because part of the reason MLB said they were taking over was to save money on travel.
Yeah.
Well, how does Round Rock or Durham going all the way to Round Rock save money?
It doesn't.
Right.
I mean, I'm it's cool. I mean, it's like my thought when they first announced the 6-game schedule was like, people are going to get bored.
Yeah.
same teams. And it's like, your brother Joe has mentioned, I think you even mentioned, Eric, that it's like it's just getting boring seeing the same teams
Mhm.
over and over and over again every season. And it's like you get 6 games, so at least one pitcher is going to be seen twice
Right.
if the team actually goes with the 5-man rotation. So like, how's that help development? I don't I don't I don't
See
understand.
like the whole thing. All right, fine. We didn't have any option as fans. We didn't have an option for Major League Baseball to take over. You guys decided that upon yourselves. Okay, fine. What it doesn't make sense to me to this day, it makes absolutely no sense, is that saying 6 game series.
Yeah,
It makes absolutely no sense whatsoever. You're telling us that you're trying to save money. You really are not. In my opinion, I don't think they are. I don't think, it's not successful. And it even I've spoken with various people who work in minor league baseball, and they're just like, honestly, it's
right.
not profitable for us at all.
No, no. And it's funny that the Pacific Coast League, through, I think it was through the 40s into the very early 50s, would play 6-game series. But this was back when you traveled by train, and the teams were, it was such a spread out along the entire coast, and
Yeah,
some years going as far in as Salt Lake. They would play Tuesday through Sunday every day. Monday was an off day, it was a travel day. Tuesday through Sunday, but every Sunday was a doubleheader.
yeah.
So it was still 7 games. It was a 6-day series. One year they tried splitting it up and it didn't work, and then they went back to it the second half. But
I see that I get. All right, you're traveling by train or traveling by bus, you
yeah,
know what I mean? And you got to stay there long period. But now with technology and with,
hmm,
like the invention of the plane and everything, you would think it's like, hey, maybe you should probably try something a little bit different. I don't know.
right, yeah,
The 6 game, you will never convince me that it is a good thing for baseball. It's
no.
for a minor league baseball. It'll never be. You'll never convince me otherwise.
I'm afraid, because indie leagues every once in a while pops up, talk about doing it, and it's like, I really don't want to do that. I mean, go to
No,
have the Dogs play 6-game series against teams. I would
it's
not
just
like that at
and
all.
and for fans, and then we're about to get into the other leagues here because I want to go over them. But for fans that are like, especially like you, Eric, who you, Kelly, you guys do a lot of traveling. Like it becomes very difficult to really schedule
Mhm.
a lot of play teams because they're not there.
Especially
Like
with that Universal Monday day off.
I hate
exactly.
that.
I absolutely it irks me to no end, the Universal Monday day off.
Yeah, it's really annoying here. Like, just personally, like, usually during parts of the year, Christina's taking a dance class, which is on Monday, and I'm like, I'll go to a baseball game, and nobody's playing.
Yeah. I don't like it. I hate it. I actually I'm sure it'll be included in the that hat hate tournament, but I absolutely hate Mondays, the Monday
Well,
off.
they can include me on that because, yeah, I can't stand it. Well,
Right.
for me, you're talking about the 6-game schedule, and I can't stand it either. But if it's just somebody going to a game here or there, they're not going to notice. But for me, I
Right.
have season tickets. Kelly, you go to the Chicago Dogs quite a bit, and it's like you said with my brother and myself, it's like seeing the same teams over and over again, especially where the Texas League only has 5 teams in the Texas League North.
Right.
We're going to be playing the Tulsa Drillers. In 2021, we played them like 30 times. I'm like, guys, can we play somebody different?
Yeah, 30
And
times is just insane.
yeah, and then I know
It gets boring.
2021 was a different schedule. Than they've changed a little bit, but we're still playing them a good 20, probably 18 to 24 times, and it's like that's way too much. And then, like, I was trying to finalize my brother and I's travel for next year. And even like, so we're going to try to get to the Cape Cod League. The Cape Cod League schedule just came out for 2026. Most of their Mondays they're off. So not
Yeah.
only is affiliated minor league have Mondays, a lot of independent professionals do. Now
Mhm.
some are collegiate, some of them are like the Cape Cod League, and others are having Mondays off. And it's like, I guess we can take a break, but if there's any way that we can cram a game in on a Monday, we're going to try to do that. It's just,
Yeah.
and then so like, talking about having these type of schedules, and it's happened in the past, but even on this trip, we're going to see the same team play not only at their home ballpark, but then as visitors on the
As
road
visitors,
when we
yeah.
go to like a different. And it's like, can we have some? I don't know, mix it up a little bit. It's just like we're seeing the same teams at home or on the road when we do our travels too. Not only, season tickets here and get to go to the games here at home, but even when we're traveling, we've been running into that as well.
And it's funny because they will never do this at the major league level, but they'll put it at the minor leagues.
100%. I don't get it. Absolutely don't get it. But all right, well, let's start with affiliated baseball, right? Because we've already talked about two of the leagues, right? We talked about the International League in AAA, and then we also talk about the Pacific Coast League. Those are the only two affiliated AAA teams, and the disparity between these two leagues is like the amount of teams in one to the other is insane.
I was getting ready to ask that. Isn't there like way more in the
international
league, which makes no sense?
The International League has 20 teams, and the Pacific Coast League has 10.
Split them up.
Yeah. Well, there were some people who were hoping that they were going to resurrect a third AAA to have it like it used to be, where the International League was the East Coast, the American Association was the center, mostly the center, and the Pacific Coast League.
I'm okay with that.
And it's funny because I heard people I read people like, oh, let's bring back the American Association. It's like, it already exists. It's been around for 20 years. You can't use that name anymore.
You can't use that name, but you can definitely split, like literally like Eastern, Central, and West, and then just, split those leagues.
That'll then create a problem for the AAA championship, which they had that
problem.
They had that problem before when there were the three teams or the three leagues.
But do a little mini series, right? Like, I mean, we can figure things out. Like, because in AA you have three leagues, in single A, in high A you got three leagues, and then also in single A. Yeah,
everywhere else it's three.
And Kelly, you might know this off the top of your head, or you may have it written down. But like, for instance, in the Omaha Storm Chasers, are they in the International League?
They're in the International League, and
then Oklahoma City Comets, aren't they the Pacific Coast League?
Pacific Coast League, yeah.
And they're just one's like straight north of Wichita and one straight south of Wichita. So it's not like one's like out in Colorado and whatever. They're just like straight down the middle. And
Omaha used to be in the Pacific Coast League.
And it's like, so then how do you determine those, like why you have a teams that are, if you draw a straight line, are basically lined up with each other right in the middle of the country, but one's in one league and the other's in the other? That just doesn't make sense of how they decide who's in what leagues.
Yeah, I don't know the criteria that was used where they decided to do the split.
It makes no sense. Okay, so like you said, there's 20 teams in the International League, and then there is 10 in the Pacific Coast League. If you do 15-15, I don't think a lot of people are going to complain about that.
Yeah, I mean, it used to be 16 and 14 before the MLB take over.
Then do it that way, right? I mean, that makes, to me, I mean, again, I know we're talking like simplicity here, but like, I mean, it really is that simple, guys. Like, I mean, let's not complicate the bologna sandwich here. So, all right, so then you move to AA, and you got the Eastern League. That's the one I know the most, just because of Akron when I lived in Ohio. The Southern League, and then you have the Texas League. And obviously, Eric, you're very well aware of the Texas League. That's your league that you're part of. Even though that ballpark was supposed to be for a AAA team, if I'm not mistaken, correct?
Yeah, and I don't even know at this point if we were even supposed to be. Well, I guess when did they kind of split that off? Was that pre-2020? Because I don't know if we were supposed to be International League.
You were going to be in the Pacific Coast League. Okay. Because it was New Orleans relocating to Wichita.
There you go.
New Orleans, because we're supposed to be the AAA of the Miami Marlins, so that makes okay. But yeah, so I've been, just a personal aside, I've been to every Texas League stadium, the current iteration, except Arkansas Travelers. I haven't seen them, but I've been to all the others, all of them in Texas, which obviously makes sense. And then you have the Tulsa Drillers, that team in Tulsa, Texas, and then Wichita, Texas, and Springfield, Texas. Yeah, and that Arkansas, Texas, Northwest Arkansas, Texas. You have these leagues that have teams that are nowhere near Texas.
Nowhere near each other, yeah. They're not in Texas.
Funny thing is, Texas League has always had teams outside of Texas. Like the original Texas League had teams in New Orleans. I mean, they used to have teams in Shreveport as well, and in various cities in Louisiana. So yeah, it's just like even when it was like, you figure, okay, it started off as a Texas League, it's all Texas teams,
and it wasn't.
But it wasn't.
It makes sense because like you got Wichita, Tulsa, Springfield, then you got Northwest Arkansas, then you got Arkansas Travelers. So those teams right
So
there,
all 5 of the Texas League North, none of them are in
Yeah.
Texas. Now
none
all
of
the
them are in
Southern
Texas. Yeah,
Division, they're all in
It's the
Texas.
Texas division and the not Texas division.
There you go.
exactly. The outsiders and the insiders. How's that? Then you got the Southern League. That's Southern League. You got Florida. You got the Columbus Clinkers, which is Chattanooga Lookouts. Birmingham Barons. So that's a good mix of teams there for the Southern League.
Yeah.
How many teams is that altogether?
They have 8.
Okay, which is kind of weird how Texas League has 10 and then the Southern League has only 8.
8.
Yeah. Well, and it used to, before the takeover, it was the reverse. The Texas League had 8 and the Southern League had 10.
Okay.
Again, I don't know who sat down and really figured this out, but they didn't do such a good job at really figuring this out at all, man. I'm sorry.
Just let Kelly do it.
Right.
It would make much more sense if I could have control over it.
It would make more sense.
It would be historically based.
We would have been like, yeah, that makes sense. We're good.
We'd be happy.
Yeah, exactly. The fans be happy.
Yeah. Manfred
Hey.
and Major League Baseball might not be.
No.
I was gonna say, hey MLB, do I have the guy for you? Let him. I know somebody that can take care of this for you.
We got this. We got this. As a matter of fact, why don't you call corporate media? We'll sit down and we'll create a committee, and then we'll take care of this for you guys.
We'll
since you guys don't
decide
know what
whether
to
or
do.
not your new alternate identities are worth you putting out there for people to see
We would
play
do
on
a
the
really
field.
good job at that.
Yeah, and then we have another guy within the group that's gonna realign everything for you, that how it should be.
That's all. That's where it's all at Corporate Media, guys. Just check it out. And then, of course, just check it out on Tuesday and Thursdays, the Data Hack Chronicle Sports Show, because that's where we really go. Like, once a new our alternate identity drops, we go into it. Like, and we really break it down and like, I don't know about this, or yeah, I really like it. This really works. So, just saying, Tuesday and Thursdays, 9 p.m., 8 p.m. Eastern time. So,
Mr. Plug.
I know I have to. I mean, I kind of have to at this point, right? If we don't do it, who won't?
Exactly.
Who will? All right. So then we move into the high A. So we got high A now. In the high A and single A, this is where it really gets a little interesting for me because there were so many flips on this one. So, Kelly, why don't you walk us through high A on that one?
So high A, we've got the South Atlantic League. We've got which used to be low A.
Yep.
The Midwest League, which also used to be low A. And then we have the Northwest League, which actually used to be short season A.
So they got a super bump.
Yeah, they went up from short A, the second lowest level, up to high A.
Sheesh.
But they only kept 6 teams, which I mean, I personally don't like 6-team leagues, but I understand the reason behind it because there's not many other. I mean, they dropped Boise and Salem Kaiser for various reasons, but yeah, having a 6-team league, it's like, it's bad enough seeing the same 5 teams over and over again. Imagine seeing the same 4 teams or 5 teams, other 5 teams, just the same 5 teams.
Oh,
right. Yeah, that's what
like,
I was gonna say the same thing. I was like, we should ask our friend Eric the Peanut Guy how he's enjoys getting to be the on-field host for the Tri-City Dust Devils and get to do that against the exact same teams over and over for an entire season.
Yeah, at least he doesn't have to worry about remembering the team names.
Or the players. Well, the players for at least a half a season, right?
Yeah.
And then after that, we're like, oh, good luck with that.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's 6 teams in one. That's just crazy to me.
Yeah. And then we've got the South Atlantic League has 12 teams.
Yep.
And then the Midwest League is 10, which Midwest League actually was up to 16 before the drop.
Yeah, the Midwest has 12.
12, yeah, sorry. Yeah, 12, and then they were at 16.
Yep.
Before the changeover.
Yeah. So 12. Okay, 12 I can see. 12 I'm okay with. 12 okay, that's it. That's all right. A 12-team league. All right, cool. We can split it up here. We can do this. But again, let's get rid of the 6-game. This is going to be the theme for this episode. Get rid of the 6-game series.
Yeah.
Just get rid of it altogether.
And I mean, that's the South Atlantic League name. It's historic name. I mean, this version's been around since 1980. Correct. The original one started in 1904. But how is Bowling Green and Brooklyn and Jersey Shore and Hudson Valley South
Right.
Atlantic?
I don't get it.
I mean, they obviously they couldn't go with the Atlantic League because that's already taken, but and I think it just kind of shows the laziness MLB had with doing this. Is like, oh, I'm not going to try and come up with a new name.
When I was just gonna say, when they got rid of the leagues altogether and they just put
Yeah,
it all together, we were like, okay, listen, I get what you're trying to do, but like you gotta bring some of these leagues back, some of these names back.
yeah,
We get that some of those leagues just doesn't no longer make sense. South Atlantic League, right?
yeah,
Like we get that. But can you at least put a little bit of effort
yeah,
and don't be so lazy about it?
yeah. The high A, what were they called? Just the high A. I can't remember what the South Atlantic League was for that 1 year. I mean, the problem was with the names is the MLB didn't actually own the minor leagues, didn't even own the names. They were owned by various people or
Yeah.
corporations, so they had to buy them all.
Yeah.
It was high A East. That's what it was.
Yeah, bro, that's right.
High A East, High A Central,
It
and
was
High
weird, like
A Northwest
North or something like that.
or High A West, like that. Yeah. I
Yeah.
mean,
It
I like knowing at the time. It's like, okay, this is just bleeping stupid, and then finding out it's like, oh, they didn't actually get the names. They had to buy the names later. Okay, makes sense.
So they were just their plan was to go with these very specific, like very corporatized
Yeah,
names because they didn't have any of the ownership of any of these league
yeah.
names.
But I was really afraid is that they were going to attach corporate sponsors, so it would be like the Frito Lay's South Atlantic League.
Listen, I'm
It's really what I thought was going to happen because everything I was reading, that's what it sounded like it was going to be.
we might still get that.
Yes, I know we might.
The way that Major League Baseball does it, and there look at uh, we're not we to us it looks weird, but like in Japan and Korea, like those names for like those teams, they're
Yeah.
actual sponsors that
Mhm.
buy the teams.
Yeah. Yeah, the teams aren't named after the city. It's the corporate
Right.
the corporation that owns them.
Exactly, exactly. Okay, so let's go on to now, and this is the last affiliated leagues in for affiliated baseball, minor league baseball, right? So you got single A. We got rid of excuse me, we got rid of short season, so short season no longer exists
Yeah.
in Major League Baseball's
Except for the complex leagues.
except for the
But
complex leagues because
nobody
you
they don't play in front of fans, so that doesn't count.
exactly because you got the Dominican Summer League, the Florida Complex Leagues, Arizona Complex Leagues.
Yeah.
You that's different. Like, yeah, that like they played in front of the scouts. That's it. And the teams.
Yep.
But we have, like you said, like we have the California League, we got the Carolina League, and then we have the Florida State League.
Yep.
That's it. No more.
Yep. And the Florida State League it's 10 teams, but the divisions are 4 and 6. Because
God,
because 4 of the teams are on one coast, the other 6 teams are on the other coast. So
just split it
instead
north
of
and south.
doing north and south, it's no, it's to save money. We're saving money this way.
Eric, I know you're laughing because you're like, what the
It
hell?
makes no sense.
Yeah. Yeah,
It this
still kills me every time I look at the Florida State League standings and it's like, what? This is just so ridiculous.
listen, this is not to say, guys, we're very critical of this, but this is not to say that we're not fans of any of these teams. We
No,
are very much fans of all these teams. I
we
buy a
just know
lot of
how to run it better.
yeah, thank you.
We just know
Jesus.
how to make it better.
Like you look at these things and you're like, really, guys, really, like, is this is the best that we can do here?
And it's just it's even more painful just like being okay, I'm not a historian, but basically being someone who covers a lot of
Yeah.
history of minor league baseball and just like it's like there's just that baseball has always been about respecting history, baseball's history, and it's like there's just no respect by Major League Baseball towards the history of the minor leagues anymore.
Nope, none whatsoever. It's been how can I say yeah, I'm gonna use the same word again. It's been so corporatized
Mhm.
You know, like it doesn't like it's been very sanitized. Like this is it. That's it. You know, history be damned.
Yeah, I'd say I'm not a conspiracy theorist, but I do kind of subscribe to the theory that Paul from Baseball by Design mentioned, that part of the reason that MLB wanted to do this was because they saw how much money minor league teams were making just with their alternate identities, and they wanted a cut of it. And so this was part of it.
That whole alternate identities and like, you know, the process now, it gets on my nerves.
Mm-hmm.
Eric,
Yeah.
I know you wanted to say something there.
I was just gonna say, I know we don't want to hurt people's feelings, so we can't call it low A, but you know, when we're talking high A, there's just one single A in there. So why do we have to just call it single A instead of like low A? Because if we're gonna call it high A, why can't we call single A? Why do we have to change it to single A instead of low A?
Yeah.
You're right. I'm not disagreeing with you. You're right.
Yeah, well, it technically before that, it was just, so it was single A. Then I think it was like 1990 is when they changed it to high A and low, or high A and low A.
Yeah.
And then so they just basically, it's reverting back. But so I guess they're respecting the history that way.
Now you want to respect it?
No, yeah, we're just gonna say now we're respecting the history.
Yeah.
Okay. Sure, Jan. Sure. Let's go with that.
And then looking at my spreadsheet, so the one thing that really bugs me is and it's partially as a cap collector, I hate keeping my caps in order by the league, but I really hate this. Oh, this team, we're going to drop this team from affiliated ball and we're going to bring in this other team. Oh, we're going to, the Texas Rangers, they want to flip flop their two affiliates. So we're going to move Hickory down and we're going to move Hub City up. And it's like, I don't like that either.
Well, honestly, that whole change, I think it was only just strictly because it was a brand new ballpark.
Oh yeah, I'm pretty much sure.
Yeah.
I mean, I've not seen it. I've been told it's fantastic.
Dub City, I heard it was great. Our good friend Donnie Weiss has been there a couple times. He's like, it's a beautiful ballpark. It's great. And Hickory needs a new ballpark. That's it. Other than that, that's the only really reason why they just flip flop. They're South and North Carolina, so they're very close to each other. It doesn't make any sense at that point. So whatever. Thank you for watching this episode and listening to this episode, whichever one you're doing, on YouTube or on wherever you find your favorite podcast. Thank you very much. Now, make sure you guys tune in next week where we finish our conversation regarding all of minor leagues in the United States, right? Even in Canada, right? So we have a lot more to talk about. So make sure you come back next week. In the meantime, make sure you're following Kelly and Eric. They are all on Threads, on Blue Sky, on Instagram, and on YouTube as well. Make sure you guys are following them. Give them 5 stars on their podcast as well. It always helps. And then make sure you do the same for this podcast. And then until then, support the minor leagues. Y ya no hay más que hablar.